Shooting a cinematic video poem is probably one of the best ways to practice exposure and light, composition, and just your filmmaking skills in general, because you don't need a lot of time, you don't need a lot of gear, a camera and one lens, that's basically it. So let me show you how you can create your own cinematic video poem. What gear do you need, camera settings, and some extra tips and tricks so you can create something like this. Okay, so if you want to see the full video, I'll link it up here and down below in the description. And by the way, I made up that name, Cinematic Video Poem, but I think it's a good name because it's not about crazy camera movements or special effects, and you don't even need a story. All you need to do is let the viewer experience what you feel. And well, that's what I think of when I hear the word poetry, but I'm not a poetry expert, so well, yeah. Okay, now, why is this the best way, in my opinion, to practice your filmmaking? Well, if you're anything like me, then, well, let's say that I'm not someone who gets up in the morning and says, okay, today I'm gonna practice my filmmaking. I'm gonna go out and do some panning shots. No, I need some kind of motivation, some kind of assignment, even if it's something super simple. And that's why I always make up little assignments for myself. I need to feel like I'm working on a little project with a goal, an end result that I can be proud of. You know what I mean? But anyway, how do you start? What do you need? Let's go over all the steps and let's start with gear. Super simple, your camera and one lens or your smartphone, that's it. Now, of course, you could use different focal lengths or a zoom lens, but if you want to try shooting with one prime lens, like I did, then I'd say go for something wide. I shot my sequence with my Sony 35mm 1.8, and I think anything between 24 and 35mm is perfect. And that's it. No, that's not true. I also used my Tiffen Black Pro Mist Filter 1/8 to make everything look a bit more cinematic. It's not a necessity, not at all, but you know, if you like the look and you're interested, the links are down below. And then camera settings. Again, super basic. 24 frames per second, no slow motion or anything like that. And that's basically it. Now, you could shoot in slow motion, but the thing is, since we're trying to show the viewer the world as we see it, you want them to feel the atmosphere, and in my opinion, real time looks and feels better. But it's personal preference. Of course, that's also only when there's something moving in the shot. If it's a very static shot, nothing moving, then you could shoot in slow motion to get a steadier shot. And talking about steady shots, stabilization. I turned it off because I wanted some camera shake to make the viewer feel like they're looking through my eyes. But I got a few comments, well, one comment, saying that it was a bit distracting. And I think maybe it's true, because all the shots are very static, there's no camera movement, and camera shake in every shot, maybe it's a bit too much. I think that maybe I should have turned IBIS on for some shots so that I would get a mix of super steady shots and shots with camera shake. Or you could also take a small tripod. I don't know, I have to try it next time. But it's something to think about. And you know what? I'll list all the exact details of my camera settings in the description. I think that's easier. Then you can go over it and, you know, try them out. But, you know, don't get caught up in all the different camera settings. Try to focus on the important things, like exposure, because, you know, we're practicing here. Different shots, different lighting situations, front lit, back lit, and all those different situations ask for different camera settings. So, obviously, for each shot, the camera settings will change. Oh, and I didn't use an ND filter because I was shooting in the early morning. It was still dark-ish, so it was dark enough to shoot at f2.8 without an ND filter. If you're planning to go out during the day, a sunny day, definitely take an ND filter, if you have one. Otherwise, you're gonna have to give up some control over all the settings. Okay. And then the subject. What should you shoot? Well, of course, anything goes, but we're trying to keep it simple here, so try to pick a simple subject. I always like weather or the mood and atmosphere that goes with a certain type of weather. You know what I mean? Or a certain type of light. So you could say that the fog was my subject, and the fact that there is fog in every shot makes that it's a coherent sequence that doesn't really need a story. Of course, I also made sure that the shots complemented the atmosphere. They're all very static shots, you know? Eeriness, loneliness. I didn't go to the town center to film lots of people. But you could go for the sun as your subject. Sunlight, bright, vibrant. And then it might be a good idea to go to the city. Lots of people. Fiesta, you know what I mean? Rain would also be a very good subject, but just not as much fun to go out in the rain, so yeah, I'm not sure about that one. But maybe night or blue hour. If you live in a city, those are great subjects for a short 1 minute, 2 minute sequence. What you need to do basically is go out on a 2-hour walk and show the viewer what you see and let them experience what you feel. Capture what you feel during your walk, whether it's loud and vibrant or super sad and depressing, like my sequence. I decided not to move the camera too much. No tilting, no panning, no dolly-ins. Also because I wanted to focus on practicing exposure and light and composition. And it's also a great exercise to train your eye so that you can spot interesting scenes right away when you arrive somewhere. It's one of the most important skills for photographers and filmmakers. And then we have editing, and I think 3 things are important: music, sound effects, and color grading. The music has to emphasize the mood and atmosphere of your sequence, and the sound effects, well, all the sound effects of my sequence were added later. Now, of course, you could also record them on location, but I found all of them on Epidemic Sound. There's a link in the description that'll give you a 1-month free trial. But yeah, so the effects are super important because a lot of the sounds that I used extend across multiple clips, and that makes the cuts smoother. Just watch the whole sequence again and listen to the sounds and how they extend over multiple clips to make everything feel smoother and like one big geheel. Like een geheel. Dus een geheel. That's Dutch. That's not even Dutch. That's like a degenerate version of Dutch. And yeah, basically what you need to do is just cut the clips to the music. Hard cuts. You don't need effects or transitions, none of those things. Music, sound effects, good shots, and hard cuts. That's all you need to create something super cool. And once you can do it like that, with those basic things, well, then you have a good base to become a good filmmaker, because then you can add special effects, transitions, and all you want, but you need that base first. Less is more. That's also why I always practice the basic things, because I want to master those first before I step up to the fancy stuff. Color grading is a tricky one, because obviously, a vibrant sunny video wouldn't feel right with the same color grading that my video has. You know, dark and blue and moody. So, first of all, you need to color grade your video in the right way, the right color grade. But the thing is, if you shoot in very specific light, like sunset or blue hour or fog, like in my video, then you don't need to do a lot of color grading because of the light. Beautiful light doesn't need a lot of color grading. For my video, I just slapped on one of my LUTs and pulled the temperature slider toward blue to make everything look even more eerie. But focus on light and not so much color grading. But if you are gonna color grade, then make sure you do it right. Don't color grade a bright and sunny video all blue and moody. Obviously. I would say go for sunset, go for blue hour, fog. If you live in a city, night shots, you know, with all the lighting screens and neon, I don't know, also looks really cool. But anyway, I think that's enough for today. You know, this video, what this is me again trying to give you a gentle kick in the butt, you know, to get you started. That's what this is. Because I want you to go out and create something. And I know if you're like me, then sometimes you need some motivation. So I hope this might be it. If not, next video I'll try to give you some more motivation and give you a harder kick in the butt. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one, guys.